Alaskans. Tonight's episode is why I might be a Democrat. This episode is one of the best that you will ever get to see, at least in my opinion. Let's just hang out here for just a minute, see how many people join us live. Don't forget to share. Facebook hates it when you share. That way it means that more people actually get to see this video. I'm glad to see there's a couple of people jumping online right now. Let's just hang out just a little bit longer and get a few more. You may notice I have my own personalized face mask here. Isn't it beautiful? One of the best that I could come up with. Get your very own Make Alaska Great Again face mask. And so that you can show everybody out there that making Alaska great is a good thing. Face masks save lives, so they tell me, over and over again. Oh, there's more people that are coming on. Keep on sharing. Keep on coming. We're looking good. We're getting more people showing up here. And I hope you guys all do like my new stylish face mask. It's a limited edition. I only have a couple on hand right now. Only if you guys would like to get one yourselves while I start placing order for face masks. Most of the people that follow my page just don't wear them. But if you happen to work in one of those places like Anchorage, where the mayor has made it a mandate that you have to wear a mask, and you don't happen to work at a place that censors the stuff that you wear, be more than happy to place an order. They're approximately, right now, I think, going for $10 a piece. I know it sounds a little expensive, but hey, you know, when you're making Alaska great, you got to be able to show it off with style. As you can see up in front here, I got plenty of hats for sale. It's kind of weird, you know. I would have thought that, you know, since all Black Lives Matter, that my Black Lives hat would matter too. They have been my least popular hat. I'm not sure if I'm a Democrat, but it seems that people think that I may be a Democrat. I just wanted to make sure that we point out that, you know, that it's the least popular color. I just don't understand why. I mean, it goes with everything that you have out there, clothing-wise, no matter what color you may have. It's one of those beautiful hats that just doesn't clash, and black hats matter too. So make sure you order your hat today. Message me, and let me know that you'd like to have one. If you're local to me, I do deliver. If you're not local to me, I do ship. It's very simple, very easy to be able to get one of them. And I have a news flash. We have pink hats. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pink hats. Those will be being picked up next week. They'll be added to the front of my display up here in front of the studio that I have been working so hard putting together. I just went and picked up more materials today, now that I'm going to finally have some time to be able to put more things together. And don't forget to share. Come on, folks. Share out there. We want to make sure a lot of people get to see this episode of I Might Be a Democrat. There's a lot of the different little subjects that I'm going to be covering today, you know, like why I might think I'm a Democrat. Well, first off, I like things that are free. To be a Democrat, everything is for free. Free health care, free food, free housing, free, you name it. If it has the F word in front of it, it must be a good thing. It must mean I'm a Democrat, because I love free things. I love when people give me their money freely, when I don't have to do a thing for it. They just hand it right on over to me. Our federal government seems to think, and our state and local governments all seem to think that everything is for free. That's the reason why they keep giving all of this free stuff away. Isn't that wonderful? Please leave me a couple comments here. I am monitoring this live now. I'm going to make sure that I cover everything that is going on. And I'm glad you guys could all join me here this evening for why I might be a Democrat. So, hot off the presses tonight, you may have seen a post from Fox News, ABC, CW, Maria Athens about our good old Mayor Ethan Berkowitz. Whether or not this is fake news or reality, we'll soon find out. Rumors are going around that Maria Athens has gotten arrested tonight, that she had punched an officer and was trying to kick out windows. I really don't think that is real news. But as a Democrat, who cares? I can say whatever I want. So maybe it is real news, and she really did do this. Maybe if we try hard enough, we can find out if Mayor Berkowitz really is the person that's showing up in the picture that I posted a little earlier from Maria Athens' page. And in that picture, it shows a hairy butt. I do apologize for what was there. I am not the one who put the picture up there. I am just the sharer of this news. I wanted to make sure that Alaskans are kept informed and they get to see for themselves and make their own judgment call on what they have in that picture. Also attached with that picture is another picture that shows a disclaimer posted by our good old mayor saying that it's not him, that this is fake news. Well, if we're a Democrat, and we are a Democrat that is posting this on our page, it's not fake news, it's real news. There's no reason why it should get censored by Facebook or by Google or by Twitter that this is fake news, because, as a Democrat and a Democrat running a Democrat page, I should be able to post those kind of things with impunity of not being any kind of charges put against me and or labeled for fake news. This is the type of stuff that is considered very, very appropriate if you are a Democrat. So this might be a reason why I consider myself a Democrat. Boy, masks. They sure are a fun thing to have to wear. This makes like maybe my 10th time that I have had to wear this mask since I've received them. I do a lot of work in Anchorage that requires me to even be able to walk into their building. I have to put the mask on. Amazingly enough, most of the businesses that I work in, as soon as I get in through the building front doors and I get back into the areas where I am working, every single one of the employees inside of these office buildings are no longer wearing a mask. They don't have them on. So, but I am a Democrat, and Democrats, when they are social distancing, are supposed to be wearing masks at all times. I'm sure you may have caught Nancy Pelosi's post earlier today, or her video that was made, or her press announcement that they are looking to change the 25th Amendment of our Constitution, which states that basically they're going to have a panel of 16 people made up of 8 legislators and 8 independent people outside of the legislation that will determine if our president is fit to be in office. Now, you may have heard that President Trump got himself that new drug to battle COVID out there. And this new drug has a possible side effect of impairing your mental abilities. If this was to pass, they would be able to ultimately, instead of having to impeach our president, just put together a panel of 16 people that they really do like and say, we want you to make a judgment on whether or not our president of the United States is capable of doing their job. Ironically enough, if our president is not elected, and this does get passed through, which I do not see this happening, but if I'm a Democrat, I'm hoping it does. And if this was to pass, we could take a look at the mental capacity and abilities of Vice President Joe Biden. I love slandering his name because I just can't mentally get it correct. I must be losing my faculties of my mental ability to be able to do that. Ultimately, if he was elected, and we have all seen it in video after video after video of Joe Biden out there giving talks about You know that thing. Come on now. You know that thing. You know what I mean, man. Come on, man. Him and his ability to be able to keep his train of thought throughout the entire conversation that he's trying to have with us all, seemingly for some reason just never seems to go right. Boy, this mask is hot. I'm just, and as you can tell, I'm always moving it up to make sure as I'm talking, it pulls the mask down. Masks are supposed to work. Well, technically, if they're supposed to work, we're never supposed to be touching them because it's gaining a lot of moisture right now. That moisture, every time I touch it, is getting onto my hands. Now, if I touch my table up in front of me, I go and open up a door, anything along those lines. I go and pour myself a cup of coffee. I just touched all these different things. I've been touching my mask. I have now effectively transferred this virus to all of these different things that I have been doing. But they work. Trust me, masks work. Right now, I'm probably spraying out lots of saliva as I'm talking to you all here. And those air particles will be able to land on somebody else. And somehow or another, they will end up getting COVID virus because of me not wearing a mask. Oh, wait a minute. I just said I am wearing a mask. I'm so confused by the mixed messages that I am getting out there from a lot of different people. Come on now, share this video. Alaskans need to hear why I am a Democrat, or I might be. Hot off the presses. Let's go pull it off here. Let's see what just came through. It's a to-do list. I might be a Democrat. Let me run down the most leading things of why I might be a Democrat. I like getting things for free. Free health care, free food, free housing, free fuel to keep myself warm, free airplane rides, free taxis. I am free to riot wherever I want to. I am free to loot wherever I want to. I am free to burn down other people's businesses and livelihoods because I'm a Democrat. I am free to lie to you all that I want, with no consequences behind what I am saying to you. I can lie all day long, just like we saw here just a day or so ago between Vice President Mike Pence and Senator Kamala Harris when they were sitting there during their debate. Constantly and consistently, we all heard lies being told that have been debunked. And for Pinocchios over and over and over again by the very far left mainstream media that confirms this. But are you seeing any of these same media companies pointing out all of these lies that were told during it? No, there is absolutely nothing out there. I'm even ashamed of Fox News. Directly after these videos, after the debate had happened, I went to Fox News. I'm hoping to get a lot of good, juicy, here's our fact-checking of what we did. And all of a sudden, everything that I'm finding out there seems to keep saying, Kamala didn't really do a very good debate with Joe Biden, but here's what Joe Biden had to say. And here's how they defend what Harris had to say. Then they come out and say, Mike Pence just didn't quite have it right. And it was just amazing to see that come from what we all, the mainstream media out there likes to call the far-right news network, Fox News. And it was really, really sad to see all of those news clippings and everything else coming out after that. Very, very little has been put out there for fact-checking when it comes to actually what Kamala Harris has had to say. They hint that she said this, and they hint that they said that. The only people I've heard out there that's really called them out is some of them that are in Fox News or Breitbart News Networks. And they have been independents that are paid handsomely to be there because their personalities are one of those that no matter how hard they want to get rid of them, they just can't afford to get rid of those people. Like Sean Hannity. Sean Hannity has done a pretty good job here recently of just tearing apart that debate and literally slamming Senator Kamala Harris and everything she had to say to Vice President Mike Pence out there, and all the different subjects that came up. You know, like President Trump has never once condemned white supremacy. How many times have we heard him condemn white supremacy? But hey, you know, that's not the topic of today's subject. This is why I might be a Democrat. I might be a Democrat if I don't believe Antifa exists. You know, that group out there that is causing terror, shooting innocent people, and causing all of these terror projects that keep going on out there. I threw a challenge out there the other day to type in their name and put a .com after it. Just type in their name with .com. I'm saying it this way because Facebook will censor this video if I say the whole thing. They already posted one to me when I tried to type it as one word, and they put it up as you are not allowed to post this onto Facebook. So I had to break the two words apart. Now, if you type in their name, .com, it will bring you directly to Joe Biden's website for donating to his vice presidency and helping out their campaign. Isn't it amazing a group that has been labeled a terrorist organization goes directly to the Democrat Party's page for donating? Oh, I hate masks. This thing, I just keep pulling it up. I keep doing exactly what they tell us we're not supposed to do. But if you're out there in the real world daily, like I am, you will see everybody that has to wear these things on their faces are having to pull them up time and time again. And then they're touching everything else that's around them, and they are finding that they are passing this disease on to everybody else. We have, roughly 7,000 people now in Alaska that have been infected. We've got 30,000 something cases that are active out of those 7,000. Unfortunately, we have lost 60 souls out there. It's always regrettable when we have to talk about someone losing their lives. Whether or not they were at the end of their life to begin with, and this would have been a natural cause, or, you know, they just caught the regular old flu and died from that, we'll just never know the actual truth behind all of it, because that's not what it's about. It's all about how they test it. Whether or not it actually caused that person to pass away, those relevant facts just are not welcome. I gotta lose this mask. I'm sorry. I cannot continue to wear it. I might be a Democrat, but man, I tell you, those masks are a real inconvenience. I feel like I'm sitting inside of a sweat lodge where you're just watching all that steam coming up, and that moisture is just helping you relax. That was just drying me out faster than I can describe. Other reasons why I might be a Democrat. I'm free to break Alaska's laws and statutes. I don't have to follow them if I'm a Democrat. How do I know this? Just look at our judicial system. They have that one right now that they're trying to, the Supreme Court Justice, 1/20th of our Supreme Court that we are being told all to vote no for. If they were all up for re-election this year, I would be voting no for all of them. As far as is concerned for our judicial system, until we have a reform out there that puts the power into the hands of us Alaskans to be able to vote who gets to be the judges in our state, we are not going to change what is going on there. Not with the selection process that they have. When 3 people that are in the judicial branch get to choose who they want to have go forward, 3 people in the legislative branch get to confirm, or basically not necessarily the legislative branch, but 3 additional people that are supposed to be independents of the judicial party are supposed to help confirm those same 3 people. And then our governor of Alaska gets to ultimately choose 1 out of those that they have chosen to place in front of them. Now, you may have heard here in the past that he has been sued because he did not choose 2 of them, recall Dunleavy. And those folks, are trying to make sure that he gets recalled from being our governor for things that our judicial branch ruled upon that had nothing to do with actual statutes or laws. It had everything to do with feelings. So I must be a Democrat if I agree that feelings now are the law of the land. I might be a Democrat. Let me see what here. If I am to make up lies about people's voting records. Yes, that is going on right now. There is several different candidates that are running for office that are having to deal with fake news being broadcasted by the far left of Alaska, the Democrats, maybe me, myself, that is saying that they voted this way, that is going to cause harm to all Alaskans. They don't want you to go back to the videos or the documented posts that have been posted out there over the time frame of when this actually happened to hear why these incumbent legislators had voted the way they had voted then. Like in regards to the permanent fund dividend, why they didn't want to vote yes when it came to the second part of our state and capital budget for the CBR vote, or the original just for the state and capital budget. The first part of it, they didn't want you to understand that when it came to the sweep and reversing the sweep, that was part of that second vote, why they voted no. They just want to demonize these incumbents for not caring about all Alaskans. Ignore the $1 billion plus that they have sitting in rainy day slush funds sitting inside of what they swept and reverse swept back into their accounts. They just want you to focalize on the power cost equalization part of that sweep that is being reversed and how detrimental it is going to be to all Alaskans if that money is not put back into that account. Who cares if it has multi-hundreds of millions of dollars sitting in that account, figuratively. But 2 years ago, I did a breakdown on the reverse sweep and discovered that they had a little over $1 billion sitting there that was not being used. It just is sitting there in what we call rainy day slush fund accounts that do nothing but just sit there and do nothing. But I'm a Democrat, or I might be, and this would be a reason why I love rainy day slush fund accounts. Now, you may have paid attention about 4 years ago, they made it illegal to say that on the Capitol floor in Juneau. If you were to call any of that money a rainy day or a slush fund account, you would be brought up on ethic charges today for saying those particular words. Why? Because they don't want Alaskans to know the truth. Like I said, I might be a Democrat. I like to lie to people and make you think that my lies are the truth because I am not telling you the whole story. They want you to believe that if these incumbents or these up-and-coming candidates, the ones I'm talking about, the 7 that unseated 7 of the law-breaking legislators that were removed from office because they can't follow Alaska state statutes and laws, that they would rather completely ignore them as if they didn't exist and just make up their own laws as they go. Say, here's our new rule that we're going to follow. Here's our new make-believe cap of what we're allowed to spend. Oh, guess what? The permanent fund dividend is now tax revenue, and it can only be paid by using tax revenue. So, out of the graciousness of our Democrat hearts that we have, we are just going to give Alaskans a small token of what rightfully 100% belongs to us. But, I'm a Democrat, so that's free money. Remember, one of my things that makes me a Democrat is I love free money. So that free money that belongs to all Alaskans, that is basically the biggest regressive tax that you could ever do, taxing our children, taxing every man and woman in Alaska, no matter what you may genderfy yourself as, and as being a Democrat, all lives lives... Oh, wait a minute. I almost said it. Never mind. I'm a Democrat. All lives don't matter. If they really did matter, they wouldn't be forcing all Alaskans to pay to kill people. Yes, you heard that right. As a Democrat, I am more than happy to steal your and my money to kill people. Yes, we do it on a daily basis here in Alaska. It is the most sickening thing that you can ever ask for. These lives don't matter because, hey, they're not really a life, right? But if you find water on Mars, there's life there. Those lives matter. Just the ones that happen here on Earth don't. If I was a Democrat, I would definitely, or might be a Democrat, would definitely find myself in love with everything that is going on in the lower 48 right now. Again, I stated it a little bit earlier. I would be able to loot. I would be able to riot. I would be able to burn things down and literally be loved by America because mainstream media and our Democrat legislators and our far left radicals out there that I might be a part of love those kind of things. But if you happen to be a patriotic American, you hold up the American flag, you support values of things that show anything that has to do with the love of our country, the patriotism that we have for it, and any of those type of values, you hear me right, you are a racist. You must be a racist. Anybody that holds the values that made us the freest country in the world over the last 200 and some years, almost 250 years, you're a racist. Who cares if these things happened 400 years ago? Who cares if nearly everything that they want to sit there and talk about today as being racist was abolished over 60 years ago? Who cares, right? You know, you are a racist for all the history that brought us into this country. My family, personally, we've been here since the Mayflower. I can track my family heritage all the way to the crossing over into the mainland, coming into the United States of America for the very first time. I'm one of those few people that has that ability. I am also a long life Alaskan. I've lived here my whole life, born here even. Only left the state a handful of times. But because I came from another country all those centuries ago, I must be racist. Whether or not my family was slave owners, that's not shown in my history. I do not know that if I have my family heritage ever had any slaves in their family history, far as I know, and we've been able to discover. And considering we can go back about 3,000 years from previously to our crossing over in our family tree, it's a very good possibility at one time in our lifetime we have owned slaves. But as I personally know at this moment, I am not a slave owner. But if I am a Democrat, I might be a Democrat, I would think that all people, that my previous ancestors, I am supposed to fill this white privilege guilt, and reparations need to be made for what might not have ever happened in my family tree. I am supposed to feel guilty for something that has not existed in my lifetime. But I might be a Democrat, so if I am, I'm supposed to feel really bad about that. I'm sorry, my white privilege is just totally breaking my heart. Forgive me. It's just decimating to watch these kind of things happen. Anyways, to continue on with what we got going on here, I might be a Democrat if I love Antifa. I have been saying this for over 2 years. They have become the new Democrat Party leaders. They are the leaders of the Democrat Party. This is why ex-Vice President Joe Biden, and Senator Kamala Harris will not call them out by name. They are the leaders of their party. They are the ones that they 100% support and are very happy for their support. Like I said here a little while ago during this video that's being made right now, I made a comment that if you were to put a .com onto the end of that name that I had just said, you will be able to find. You go directly to the Harris Biden donation website for their campaign right now. What more proof do you need that they are the new Democratic Party leaders? I don't need any more proof. That kind of like settled it for me. I mean, if Google is allowing that to happen, there is a problem, because that is a forwarding address that they have big control over, because that is the platform I use to search this out. I was shocked. I even made a video about it, which I will take the time to upload here within the next day or so, just so that you guys can all see exactly what happens when you type those words in together, and what page it takes you to. Whether or not they fixed this glitch, it's really hard to say, but it's been happening for well over a couple of months now, so I know that this is a glitch that they are more than happy to have happen. Just like if you are a person that 100% supports the terrorist organization Black Lives Matter, and their causes out there where only their lives matter and anybody else's out there's lives don't, you know who I'm talking about. You men and women in blue, you racist people that you are, you know who I'm talking about. You guys are systematically racist. Even though when you look at the statistics, when it comes down to unarmed or black people being shot by the police in 2019, there was only 2. But if you look at where the white people out there who are the real racists of our world, because might be a Democrat and that's the way I'm supposed to think, that these white people who died 10-1 compared to what happened there, almost 10-1. I know I'm exaggerating just a little bit, but you know, when you're talking about 12 people versus 2 people, it's pretty self-evident out there, you know, where the prejudice lie. But you know, I'm not supposed to be a conservative-minded person. I am supposed to lie about this kind of stuff and say I am some systematically white privileged racist that believes that I am supposed to be in the Democratic Party. Again, it all boils down to, where does all that money go? Where is it all coming from? Like I just pointed out about Antifa, and you put that other word behind it, you know, that one that says .com, and go to the Joe Biden website. Black Lives Matter is the same thing. If you go and look at where 99% of all the donations are going, it's going to the organization Act Blue. Act Blue is the Democrat platform for raising money for their campaigns so that they can sit out there and be able to target all of us non-conservatives out there, the ones that do not identify themselves as being a Democrat, or in Elise Galvin's case, or in Al Gross's case, independent, that you are not a part of the Democrat Party. You are a part of the swamp that is on the right, that doesn't care about American lives. They only care about how much money that the big corporations out there are being given in the tax breaks. Ignore that extra $2,000 a year on average for every middle-class American that has received money from the tax break. I might be a Democrat, and I agree that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will 100% need to repeal those tax cuts that was given to all Americans. You know, because that money doesn't belong to you. That money belongs to us, the government. You know, the people that want to be in charge and spend all that money on ourselves. It's really sad to see that how many people have dropped off from this video. Don't forget to like and share. I mean, I might be a Democrat, so all of this stuff is very relevant to why I might be a Democrat. It really is a sad world that we live in. I could sit here and tell lie after lie after lie after lie to all of you, and I might be a Democrat. Now, mind you, this could be an entire thing of a satire of why I should be a Democrat. We're here to make Alaska great again because I'm a Democrat. And Democrats are the people that will follow the laws. You know, the ones like Mayor Ethan Berkowitz has put into place, saying that all people are required to wear this everywhere they go, no matter whether they're indoors or they're outside. It is funny watching people as they are all by themselves in their vehicle, driving along, wearing their mask. Or you watching this person walking down the side of the road, and you see them wearing their mask outside. That just goes to show you where their thinking is. But the minute I get into a room with several other people, and you've watched the mayor do this time and time and time again when he gets into his speech mode of his hunker down, bunker down, in crapper town, anchor town, soon as he goes to talk, the mask is taken off, and now I'm going to sit there and talk to you. I brought up Pelosi and the 25th Amendment and her little thing earlier today. Anytime that she's been given a press briefing prior to today, she has always taken her mask off. Now, to show a support and solidarity for the movement and the virus that has completely infected everybody within Washington and inside of the Capitol there, and those people that we have a super spreading conventions happening where all these people are coming down with the virus. But there's been zero reporting of any of this happening in protest. So this was not a convention that President Trump had. This was not a press briefing to introduce who they want to have as the new Supreme Court Justice. This was a protest of who the next person is supposed to be. Because obviously, if this was a protest, this wouldn't be news, because protests do not spread the virus. Who cares if I'm yelling in your face, watching my spit just flying, calling you the ugliest, excuse my French, black nigger out there in existence because you are a cop, you are a racist, and you happen to be black? That is not spreading of the disease. That is just protesting. That is exercising my First Amendment right. And as a Democrat, I'm allowed to do those things. But God forbid a Republican do the same thing. They come out. I have yet to ever see the conservative side go out there and literally go walk up and get into people's faces. I myself have experienced this firsthand. Mayor Ethan Berkowitz and the Assembly, while they had the Assembly meetings locked down in Anchorage and we're outside protesting and they're trying to change the laws that are going to hamstring our APD and make it so that it's more difficult for them to do their jobs and ultimately will end up costing them a good possibility, many of them, their lives. Here is the Black Lives Matters, Marxist, anarchist group standing out there, and they all got their masks on, and they're sitting there protesting, and here I am without my mask on, videotaping everything that's going on out there, live streaming it for all of you to see, and they're demanding that I get away from them because I am not following the laws by not wearing a mask. As you see them all side by side, shoulder to shoulder, sitting there doing their protesting, saying that I'm the one that's breaking the law when they are the ones that are standing side by side doing the exact same thing. Hypocrisy at its finest. You can't have it both ways. How about those Black Lives Matter signs that are on our building down the Performance Arts Center downtown? You know, they tried to get it so that Save Anchorage would be able to put their own signs onto the side of the building there. Well, that got squashed. Why? Because Anchorage citizens' lives don't matter. You are just not special enough to matter. Who cares if there's been overwhelming response showing up day after day after day while they had the assembly chambers locked down, passing these far left agendas that me, if I might be a Democrat, are supposed to be supporting, yet I'm watching the people that are outside, Democrats, independents, Republicans, non-affiliates, everything you can think of, standing out there in solidarity against what was happening inside of that building. But if we were to believe what the Democrats and our mayor and our assembly have to say about who we are all racist for thinking different than they do. We are not a part of their agenda. We must be the racist. And why might I be a Democrat? Well, dang it, I might be a racist too. And I must feel bad about my white privilege and my guilt for that. Kind of funny about my white privilege, you know, considering that I have every race and authenticity in my family tree. I have family members that are black. I have family members that are Hispanic. I have family members that are Asian. I have family members that are Chinese. I got family members that are Russian. I've got American Indian in my family. I've got Alaskan Native in my family. It is amazing how diverse my family tree is. When you've been here since the crossing of the Mayflower, it's amazing how much your family tree really does begin to intertwine with all the other races out there. But my white privilege, because my skin is white, I'm supposed to be feeling bad out there, and reparations are due right now to everybody else. So, where do we all stand? Come on. Is there anybody giving me any comments out there? No. Here's one. TDS. No one with any common sense would vote for Dementia Joe. Yes, I agree with that. But I'm a Democrat. So you're supposed to vote for him. You're supposed to agree with Toothless Pelosi and their adjustment that they want to do to the 25th Amendment, where they will allow 16 people to decide that our President of the United States does not mentally have the ability to do his job and will be removed. Who needs an impeachment process when we can just change the 25th Amendment and have people that have absolutely no bearing on what happens in our 50 states make the decisions for us? Your vote doesn't matter. Elections don't matter. You should just be happy that we chose who you get to have leading you as a leader. And as I said before, if for some godforsaken reason, and that would be that the people that have an actual brain in their head don't get off of their butts and go vote on November 3rd, and Joe Biden gets voted into office and Kamala Harris, guaranteed that the Democrat Party is going to push this 25th Amendment through as fast as they possibly can. Why? Because Joe Biden doesn't have his mental facilities all up there. That has been shown over and over and over again that he's losing it. They will instantly put together a panel once he takes office and remove him. And guess who will become President of the United States? Kamala Harris. This is the Democrat plan. And if I might be a Democrat, I would be all for this happening. So should all of you. Anything else? Come on. Is there any other comments? This is Forrest Gump channel. Yes. Run, Forrest, run. I have some shrimp for you. We got our shrimp cocktails. We've got our shrimp stew. We got our shrimp steak. You name the shrimp, I've got the shrimp for you. Because I am running for office. Speaking of Forrest, we've got Forrest Dunbar in Anchorage who wants to take over dictator Mayor Ethan Berkowitz's seat. He has been groomed for years now to succeed him when he is removed from office. That is the most scariest person that I could ever think of running for mayor right now. If you think the far left agenda is out of control that they have passing there in Anchorage at the moment, be someone stupid. don't fill in one of those mail-in ballots, the only way you can legally vote in Anchorage when it comes time to elect your mayor, and you will be stuck with Forrest Dunbar as the next mayor of Anchorage. God help us all, but I might be a Democrat, so that would be a great thing to have happen. I might be a Democrat. Any other comments in here? Hair nightmares. Is it my hair? Oh, almost nothing out there for comments. I really expected to see a lot more people leaving some comments on this video. It is just absolutely scary when it comes to being the reasons why I might be a Democrat. Anyways, I am going to cut this video off right here because to be a Democrat, I got to be a brainless idiot. I've got to want everything for free and not understand where that money actually comes from. Who cares if my taxes go up to 70% of what I earn? I'm getting it for free. I only have 30% to live off of, but that's okay because I get all this stuff for free. I get free college, I get free healthcare, I get free food, I get free housing, I get free medical, I get, you name it, it's all for free. Free taxis, free airplane rides. Everything in Alaska is for free. 225,000 people of Alaska are living on welfare and get their things for free. This is why the roads like going to the Ambler mine is being rejected by those who live in the area, and many out-of-state, well-funded people that live in the lower 48 and in Hawaii are all actively putting in millions of dollars to make sure that this road does not get put into place. Who cares if it brings economic opportunity to these very economically deprived areas of Alaska? Who cares if it gives them more ability to be able to get good, well-paying jobs? Who cares if it makes it easier and cheaper for them to live where they live by building this road? Think of those poor caribou. You know, the ones that have to walk across that road? Oh, God forbid they got to walk across that road. Their lives are going to change forever. They're going to quit breeding. The herds are going to be decimated. You know, the same sad song that they gave us about Prudhoe Bay. You know, the herds that are 3 times bigger than what they were when Prudhoe Bay was built to begin with. All these things are going to be destroyed. All these rivers that will no longer have fish within them. You know, all the new regulations about here's how a culvert is to be built for this particular water crossing that is going to go underneath the road. Not the old standards, the stuff that they did during the 60s that are now being ripped back out and the newer standards being put in. No. They want us to believe that is what is going to be done with this road going to Ambler. That the Ambler mine, none of these upgrades, that all these new standards, these new environmental standards that are put into place are going to be used. They want you to believe we're going to go right back to the early 19th century when it comes to all of these things. And that is what we are to expect to be built. Oh, man, I might be a Democrat if I believed that. I really would. Same thing with Pebble Mine. I might be a Democrat if I believe that a less than 1% of the fish that goes into the Bristol Bay Ocean, that is in the Bristol Bay Ocean, comes from the watershed that this mine is to be built in. Less than 1%. But I might be a Democrat when I think that it's going to destroy the entire Bristol Bay fishing and community and their environment. Who cares that they are talking untravelable roads, because there are no roads, to get into this mine, that to get where this mine is particularly at, people don't hunt, people don't fish, people don't even go anywhere near this area because it's too impossible to traverse into, that it's going to decimate everything. Even if the worst ecological damage was to happen, let's say we have an 11.0 on the Richter scale earthquake that destroys the tailing dam, it has to travel 10 miles. before it even hits the first part of the watershed. 10 miles. Odds of that happening are less than 1%, which is also where less than 1% of the fish that enters into the Bristol Bay area of the fish come from. But it's not from those tributary streams that we have to worry about. It has to travel 10 miles to reach even to get there, and then it has to be able to go down even further from there. And there's nothing going to be put into place to mitigate this from ever happening. They're just going to sit there. They're going to actually dig a culvert that, like the canals that you see if you've ever been to places like Arizona. You go beside the road, you see these big old trenches type things. The canals are that are cut into it to handle the flooding and stuff that sends that water directly back out to the oceans again instead of collecting it to be able to water things with. Those things there, they're going to build those from the tailing dam so that it will go straight to the watershed and destroy everything that is there. If I was a Democrat, I might believe this to be true. I might believe that we're going to go right back to the early 19th century with our mining practices and everything that we are doing to process the ore that is coming out of the ground. We are going to flush all of that water that is being used in chemicals and everything else directly into the streams, and we are going to kill the watershed that is there. That is what they want us all to believe. I might be a Democrat. How many different ways might I be a Democrat? Well, it's endless. I can name them all. We've covered how they are doing our voting, our mining. How about the timber down there in the Tongass Forest? We're not allowed to cut down any of the old growth because it might kill the environment. Who cares if one strategically hit lightning strike starts a forest fire in there that cannot be put out? Imagine the decimation that would happen down in the Tongass Forest if a forest fire was actually to begin. Instead of doing what they should do and managing our forests properly and maintaining them so that there is no kindling and firewood sitting underneath all of this old growth to just sit there and light right on fire. They want us to be another California. They want us to look like California, having the most decimating forest fires that they've ever seen in their entire lifetimes. Why are they having these kind of fires? Because they quit doing any kind of forest management. This is what the lower 48 is trying to do to us here. God forbid that we build any new roads, the ones that they keep complaining. We got to have the ferries for because we have no roads. Oh, we want to build you a road. Oh, no, we can't have that road. I might be a Democrat if I understood that kind of logic. You can't build a road because it's going to destroy the ecological forest that we have here in the southeast portion of Alaska. But we can't have, we got to keep our ferries because we have no roads. That is the logic of a Democrat. I might be a Democrat if I agreed with this kind of logic. All right. I have got about 5 more minutes. I'm going to sit here and just ramble on why I might be a Democrat. There's lots of reasons that I might be a Democrat. I think the permanent fund dividend that Alaska, back in 1949, to become the state of Alaska, become part of the union that turned us into the 49th state, gave up our mineral rights to be able to do this. Everything that we own under the land. Unless, of course, you're an Alaska Native and you own Alaska Native land, you own all the minerals underneath the ground. You're allowed to build a mine. You don't have to go through the same EPA type restrictions and requirements to develop up this mine because you own the land, you own all the subsurface rights. You can do whatever the hell you want. You don't got to worry about people down in the lower 48 suing the living crap out of you year after year after year, turning a project that should have already been started into decades-long litigation going through court. You can do it right now. Doyon, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They have partnered up with a Canadian development firm for mining, and they are currently working on their native lands to develop up different mines to get them into operation that are not going through the stringent protocols or all the constant and consistent lawsuits that you're seeing happening with like Pebble Mine or the road that they want to build to Ambler. or the road that goes to Cody, that King Cove has been asking for forever, that short little, I believe it's 10-mile track that they want to put into place that will save lives instead of storms, making it impossible to be able to medevac these people out to a hospital to get them help. This is all way too important because this is owned by the federal or the state. If it's owned by the federal government owns all the surface rights, and our state of Alaska owns the rest. Good example of that is ANWR. 50-50 split to develop up ANWR of anything that is developed coming out of there. 50% is going to the federal government, 50% will go to the state of Alaska, to us Alaskan citizens through our dividend program. We are going to see a big goose egg. Nothing. Absolutely nothing's going to come out of that. The only thing that we see coming out to us in our permanent fund dividends comes from the legacy fields that is owned strictly by the state of Alaska. And when I say strictly by the state of Alaska, that's me, you, and every Alaskan that lives here. We own all of that. That is ours. It belongs to us. Our government, our local government, is just the stewards of the land that are supposed to do our wishes, not their own what they want to do with it. They're supposed to do what we tell them to do. They're supposed to be there working for us. But that has ended a long time ago because people sit at home with their sitting on their hands thinking, oh, there's nothing I could do about it. Well, if you got out and protested, you got out and complained, you actually shared posts that are arguing against what they are doing, maybe we can start something up, a movement that makes this go away and we take back over control as citizens. But too many people out there are too scared. They're going to lose their jobs if they share anything that sounds controversial. I see it all the time, constantly and consistently. Why share something? Because I am going to get, my family's going to get mad at me. I might lose my job. When did we start living in a country that our freedom of speech and all the things that we hold dear in our Constitution just gets thrown to the wind and everybody's too afraid to actually take a stand anymore? But if I might be a Democrat, I got no problem saying I want to take away your First Amendment rights to be able to say this. I want to make sure that your guns are no longer your guns. They're now my guns because I'm going to confiscate them all because I'm a Democrat and I'm going to take them all away. Al Gross has openly said on a PBS media here just the other day that he is all for the Second Amendment until it comes to your rifles. Then on the other hand, I want them all taken away. If you own a AK-47, you know, the ones that are used when it comes to going to war, those have already been banned. But that's not what he's talking about. He's talking about taking away your rifles, the AR-15s that are out there that have the ability to shoot a couple rounds off more at a time than what a fully automatic weapon is able to do. Understand your Second Amendment. It is supposed to be used for the militia. It is supposed to be able to protect us from domestic or foreign powers trying to take over our country. Right now, we've got a very domestic problem trying to take over our country. I really do see when we've got over 300 million guns sitting in the United States, and we've got a population of sitting just over 300 million. If we ever do go to war, it's another civil war like we saw when Republicans went against the Democrats to free the slaves. We're going to be putting countrymen against countrymen out there defending our rights to protect the freedoms under our Constitution that all Americans have. Whether you're white, black, Asian, Chinese, Irish, I don't care what ethnicity you think you are. I don't care what gender you think you are. If you think you are an egg, you think you are a potato, that is your own choice. The Second Amendment there is there to protect us all and keep us free from tyranny, either foreign or domestic. It's amazing what direction our world is going. All right, I have hit my hour time limit on this video. I promised myself I would quit at that particular moment in time, and I am there now. If you'd like to help us out, help us grow, support us in our getting the message out there for what is going on in our great state of Alaska, click on the link that I provided at the top of the post. Go to my website, donate a couple bucks. Every penny helps. Everything goes back into producing more. I was out TV shopping today so that I can get it set up over here in the corner of my table and be able to start showing live clips of different things that are going on. I have been working hard behind the scenes to get little things like this put together. Just went out to Lowe's today, bought more materials to work on the studio so that I can get more of the trim work done. Come to find out that they're out of certain plywood products that I'm looking for. Thanks to this virus, the production and getting materials here into the state of Alaska, I am watching wood products going up in price. What would have cost $5 about 7 months ago is now costing $10. A sheet of plywood that was $20 7 months ago is now costing me $30. It's amazing. I wish I would have went out and spent the money a long time ago to put this all together, because it would have been a hell of a lot cheaper than what it's costing now. Everything you can help to donate to help support the cause is greatly appreciated. It goes directly right back into making Politadick grow. We have hats for sale, Make Alaska Great Again hats. We have the royal blue coming back. We have the navy blue in stock. We have the black hats matters in stock. We've got the red hat matters in stock, and we got the white hat matters in stock. You know, the Make Alaska Great Again hats. All of these hats matter. We want to make sure, we might be a Democrat platform, that we make sure that all Alaskans know Make Alaska Great Again. For those that didn't get to catch the beginning of the video, we have our Make Alaska Great Again masks. We have several different colors that we can provide. I just happened to pick this one out. It has been a lot of fun wearing it around town. I have sold quite a few just from people seeing it on me when I get stuck in Anchorage and have no choice but to put it on to be able to go into the places that I need to go do work. Hats are going like crazy. I cannot keep them on the shelf. It seems every time I turn around, I am selling another half a dozen of them almost on a daily basis. And these are self-producing hats. In other words, the more you buy, the more I produce. These hats are being bought here locally. I am supporting the businesses that are in the state of Alaska, and I am making sure that those businesses that are struggling be able to make an income. The people that are making these hats for me right now, this is not their normal business. This is not what they do to make a living. But because they are doing everything that they possibly can, being in Anchorage and being stuck with their consistent and constant lockdowns, and all the things that they would normally be making their money off of are still not open, like our Alaska School District. You know, the one that has a failure to be able to keep their doors open because they haven't opened them at all, using a brand new platform for virtual learning that is failing our students. Speaking of virtual platforms, my child, 2 weeks before the school districts actually got into session, enrolled into a virtual platform called iGrad, and has been involved in that. Started the school year out as a junior. This was, at right age. That's the class she was supposed to go on into. Started out as a junior. I just received announcements talking with them here just a couple days ago. Has 4 classes left to graduate their senior year. 4 classes left to graduate their senior year. My child is a very self-motivated person and has the ability to continuously do the schoolwork. The school that I had them enrolled in prior to this was a brick-and-mortar school. They were using a virtual platform that was extremely similar to what this one is. It was all done on their tablets. All their homework, all their schoolwork, all their testing was done on these tablets. Very few books were involved. Same as what I'm finding with iGrad right now. There's only a couple books required to be able to run these courses. They even provide you money for your student to be able to purchase materials if you need to be able to purchase a laptop, if you need to be able to buy materials to be able to do this or do that, or you want to go and take them on a field trip to learn something about Alaska history that goes along with the Alaska history class. they give you money to be able to do this and be able to afford to do it. I think it's up to $2,500 a year. You could take advantage of this just like I am doing right now. Again, my child here is not even 17 years old, still only 16 years old, and will be graduating from high school probably sometime between November and December. At the current plan right now, the way things are going, I would not be surprised to be finding that gets handed a diploma before Thanksgiving. But, you know, let's be realistic. I don't want to push my kid too hard. I let my kiddos do what they need to do. They're, very, like I said, very self-motivated people. So when teachers sit there and tell you that parents are the reason why their kids are not succeeding, guess what? They're not completely wrong. I hear too many parents out there right now giving excuses. Their child just can't learn using this virtual platform. Well, if I was using what the school districts and the brick and mortar school systems are using right now, my child would be failing. My child would be sitting there having to wait for the rest of the class to complete the assignments that the teachers are assigning them before being able to move on. But because they enrolled into iGrad, they can work at their own pace, as fast or as slow as they need to complete their projects and their programs that they are in. And as soon as they are completed and they're done and they get tested out, they move immediately into the next one. And immediately into the one after that, and immediately into the one after that. No longer being held back by our school system and by teachers that refuse to give an education to our students for those that are able to succeed. Just imagine if every student in the state of Alaska was to work in a program that is similar to this along those lines, we could have kids graduating from school by the time they're 14, 15, 16 years old, graduated from school, moving directly into college classes, being paid for, ironically enough, by the state of Alaska. I might be a Democrat if I think college should be paid for by our government. Well, guess what? I have the opportunity right now for my children to be able to get that kind of education that's going to have a year or so of college classes that can be paid for. Amazing what happens when you embrace the Democrat Party platform and their ideology and their way of thinking. The only difference is between my embracing of it and their embracing of it is that I use it as a conservative would use it and make sure that it is what is best for everybody involved. End of my discussion. I am done here. Again, go to my website, click that donation button, donate to Politadick, help us grow, help us buy more materials, help give us the gas money we need to be able to make it to different events. There are two of them that I will hopefully be live streaming, both of them tomorrow. One of them is a candidate discussion that is going to be happening at 11 o'clock tomorrow. At the AMAC is presenting it. Suzanne Downing is supposed to be there and hosting it. And I'm hoping to be there live streaming it. And then I immediately, as soon as that one is over with, I am racing off to the write-in campaign for Stephen Wright. That is going to be happening tomorrow at noon at the Big Lake Lions Club. The other one is at the Wasilla Senior Center at 11 o'clock for the candidate. Find out who the candidates are and why we should vote for them. And then Stephen Wright's is at 12 o'clock. Starts at 12. I'm hoping to be there to be able to live stream what is going to be said there. Should be a very lively event. If not, at least you get to meet Stephen Wright and find out why you should write in his name. Scary part is this going to split the vote between the Democrat and the Republican Party out there, and may mean that someone like Dan Mayfield, who sits on the assembly of the Mat-Su Borough, you know, the one that is looking to take away our guns out here in the valley, that pushed their agenda here not too far back and is still pushing it right now, might get elected because of this write-in campaign. But we got Senator David Wilson, who's already said that he will once again join the Illegal Binding Caucus and their platform, even though it means that he's selling out our votes and our votes, our voices and our votes, to be in the Illegal Binding Caucus here in Alaska. It's one of the reasons why I don't support him. He also is 100% on board for stealing all of our PFD and just letting government use it to pay for the state and capital budget. He doesn't think that it legally belongs to Alaskans. At least he doesn't promote that himself. If he was to stand strong on both of those platforms, man, I would be you'd see pom-poms in my hand say, vote for David Wilson. But right at the moment, I'm really considering write-in for Stephen Wright would probably be a better choice. If I knew enough people out there were going to vote for him, I would be promoting it on a daily basis. But at least I'll live stream his event that's going on tomorrow. At least I'm hoping to. Long as that candidate, talking about the candidates that are running for office doesn't go too long tomorrow, I'm going to be there. Don't forget to like and share this video. Everybody needs to see why I might be a Democrat. It's very much, you might consider what I did today a satire. As far as Facebook is concerned, this was a complete satire, so that way they can't ban it. Because it could be, it could not be. I could be the Alaskan Babylon Bee. Thank you very much for joining us all here today. Appreciate you. Glad you all could be a part of it today. And you all have a great weekend, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.